So where do men find purpose? Why is that all the men I know they start traveling on a bike and go to the mountains? You know, Himalayas. It's a joke. If you're feeling lost, take the bike and go to the mountains. So how do we not how do how where is the purpose? Is it hidden in the Himalayas somewhere?
Maybe that's why people are going off into the mountains, right? There's one way of looking at it, two ways of looking at it. One is you think of it as an exploration and you're trying to find out more about yourself, wherein that whole journey becomes a rite of passage. Right? Like if you look at bikers also, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Oh, I rode my bike all the way from the southernmost tip to the northernmost tip of the country. And that whole journey, that adventure,
Yeah.
the trials, the tribulations
Yeah.
along the way, the experiences, the awe of nature, all of it transforms an individual, right? So now you're looking at it as a boys to men sort of a rite of passage,
Correct.
right? I've been through all of this and I came out triumphant against the odds,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So now that person feels more confident, more capable, more responsible when they're faced with crisis in the future years.
So it's basically you have to put roadblocks for men to find purpose.
In a way, yes, right? If you don't put it, like if we were in the past where we lived in amongst nature,
Yeah.
those happened.
You
Nobody
had
had to engineer those challenges, right? If you're a farmer also, sometimes it rains, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's bountiful crops, sometimes the crops are destroyed. You're facing those trials and tribulations over a period of time. If you're a hunter gatherer, sometimes you get the bear, sometimes you don't, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't, sometimes you starve for many days. The longer or the deeper you stay within nature, the more you are learning to grow through challenges.
correct.
Right now, today we live in a world where we have abhorred challenges. We want civilization, we want comfort, we want
It's a
security, we want,
stress-free life in a way.
yeah, right? And we do need a certain amount of stress to grow.
Correct.
So the lesser stress we are having in our lives, the lesser impetus there is to grow.
Correct.
Right? So now you take this challenge as a rite of passage. So now that gives this boy a purpose, and once he grows through that journey, he now considers himself a man.
So bike makes you a man.
One way, right? And that's assuming you're using that perspective of an exploration. If you think of it the other way, I just want to escape from the city. I just want
Yeah.
to get away from this chaos. I just want to get away from everyone chewing my head. I don't want to live in the city anymore. I don't want to handle the challenges of modern living anymore. Now it becomes an escape. Does it still give you the same benefits? You're doing the exact same experience. You're going through the exact same
Correct. Correct.
journey, etc. But the transformation is not at all the same,
Yeah.
simply because you're using this as an escape versus the other person was thinking of it as an exploration to find out more of oneself. Again, it's not necessarily that it's going to be entirely escape only. Somewhere along the way, you may think of it as escape, you may initiate the journey as an escape, but over time you realize, oh, this is an exploration of myself.
Yeah.
I'm learning something about myself.
Yeah.
But there's always that aspect of coming back. Once you have learned something of yourself, once you understood yourself, once you've gone through that rite of passage and you consider yourself grown through that boys to man transformation, now you come back and you select a purpose for yourself and say, traditionally it's as simple as, I hereby decide to
Yeah.
take care of this woman, which is a
Yeah.
traditional concept of marriage,
Yeah.
where I'm now committing to a purpose
Yeah.
for an extended period of time. I'm not fickle, right? I'm not saying, hey, you know what, let's be together, and then 3 months later I'm like, fuck you, I don't want to be with you, right? I'm saying, you know what, till the end of time, till death do us apart, till whatever period of time, we will be together.
So if marriage in a way was a purpose in good old days, what's the new purpose? Because now the concept of marriage, the need for marriage has changed. It has evolved a lot. So if marriage is not giving you the purpose, what has taken its place? What has, or maybe nothing has taken its place, and we are still struggling. Or that's why a lot of people, like we said, had stopped playing the game.
Yeah.
And also talking about the category simp, where they want to worship. I mean, I really think of simps as people who worship women. They just worship and they are looked down upon for doing the act. How do we handle that?
I don't know if we can just call it worship, right? See, when you say worship, it's a sense of, the word that comes to my
Yeah.
mind is devotion,
Devotion. Yeah. Yeah.
right? So again, why am I devoting my life to this person or to this idea or this
Correct. Correct.
identity or this concept, right? We can devote ourselves to a startup, we
Correct.
can devote ourselves to an individual, we can devote ourselves to an idea, we can devote ourselves to just perfecting a cup of
Yeah.
coffee,
Yeah.
right? Now, if I place a responsibility on you that I am now your devotee and you must, there is a certain sense of pressure that I'm putting on you as well,
Correct.
right? I worship you, right? And am I worshiping you? Am I giving my devotion to you or am I taking your attention?
Correct.
That's another question, right? There's a
Correct.
give and
Correct.
take
Correct.
here.
Correct.
If I'm going to be obsessively at your feet all the time, pulling at your dupatta all the time, am I really giving devotion or am I grabbing attention?
So there's no purpose. This is not the purpose.
No, I don't know. It's a question, right? It's a question I need to ask myself. If I say I love you and I'm devoted to you,
Correct.
am I really devoted to you? Am I giving of myself or am I just obsessed with you giving me attention?
Correct. Because once I give you the attention, you don't know what to do with it.
I mean, I'm just happy basking in it.
That's it.
As long as you give me that attention continuously, consistently, if you look away, then I'm like,
Yeah.
right now, this is probably where violence against women come in. Right? So this is why if you look at Simp as a someone who is sweet and loving and nice, but the moment you
Yeah.
stop giving attention, that same individual becomes violent, aggressive, and can burst into a situation where he does everything extreme to get back that attention that he believes is rightfully his because he has devoted his obsession to you.
It's so fascinating that we started with talking about men who have stopped playing the game, and now we are talking about men who, if they don't get enough attention, will use violence. Whereas the same violence can be used on the Himalayan terrain can be used to play, or even playing with danger zones, but we won't because I also feel like men don't have any other options. Either you leave, become a yogi, or you become a violent person. There's nothing in between.